Yes, times are tough for many people, maybe especially so in the position you're facing right now. It happens to all of us. A run of good luck can only go on for so long. At some point, we all face a streak of bad luck, a layoff, a lost job opportunity, a dried up market for our business. Challenges and setbacks are inevitable, but what is really important is how you respond to them. I have certainly been there myself. At one point, I was completely bankrupt. My net worth was negative. I owed $1.5 million with no assets. I had a decision to make. At that point, I could wallow in the failure in the circumstances I was in, or I could brood on the decisions that had set me back and focus on the past. Or I could look forward to the future and what I could do to fashion a new future, a new path forward. I ultimately emerged to create a multi-million-dollar business, taking some risks when some might have advised me to cut my losses and really head for a safe harbor and get a regular job. Well, the truth is that many of us will only have the courage and initiative to really stretch ourselves and take a risk when we have nothing left to lose. This is why so many great success stories begin with a firing or a layoff. We often don't know how much we are capable of until there is nothing holding us back from finding out really what we're made of. My advice is not to limit yourself for just looking for a new job. Yes, update your resume, hit the job boards and go out on interviews. But focusing solely on a new job and working for someone else is the only potential way to bring revenue in is short-sighted. There's never been an easier or more exciting time than right now. And this is thanks to all of the options afforded by technology to launch yourself into entrepreneurship. I found it curious that we continue to think of full-time employment as a safer bet than working for yourself, when being an employee necessarily puts you at the risk of someone else's decisions and whims. Yes, it might be a bit easier to coast day to day, and that is your prerogative, but your horizons will always be limited. You'll be punching a time clock, working for someone else, rather than striking out on your own and making your own way. Now, so many of us limit the horizons of what we consider for opportunities and what we see on the job boards. The truth is that you're never going to see an advertisement for that make or break chance that accelerates your career. You're going to need to go out and identify and make some of those opportunities yourself. Nobody's going to bring them to you. So when your back is against the wall, take a multi-pronged approach to getting back on your feet. Network, talk your skills up, and think outside the box on how you can stop the financial bleeding. Get the word out among peers that you're out there in the market and ready to work. Heck, just create something. This simple act can reinforce to yourself that you aren't a passive recipient of your fate, but you're actively working to forging your own destiny. We all go through tough times in different forms or another, but don't give up hope. If you can distance yourself enough, both mentally and emotionally, from your situation, you may even be able to develop some grudging appreciation for the moment of the challenge. Yes, appreciation. While it is true that few of us would seek voluntarily to be out of luck, it can be an opportunity to arise more creatively and boldly than you really might have ever thought possible. It's important to maintain some perspective about the challenging times you face. Just as the good times inevitably can't last forever, neither can the periods of setbacks. Remind yourself each evening that things are going to turn around as long as you stay committed and focused to finding and getting back on the path. In the meantime, you're left with some simple choices. You can give up or you can persevere. It can be simpler to carry on if you simply focus on making some sort of progress, no matter how incremental each day. Now track your progress with some tangible numbers. It might be as simple as contacting 3 of your connections in your network each day to let them know that you are pursuing new opportunities or bidding on 3 freelance projects each day. The important thing here is to continually demonstrate to others and to yourself that you are actively taking steps each day to turn things around. The simple act of continuing to put one foot in front of the other will help you build momentum to keep going through the tough times. The fear of failure is so strong that many people organize their lives specifically around avoiding it or taking any sort of meaningful steps forward. If you've already had the experience of going through the crucible of tough times, you may ultimately be grateful that you've received your own form of empowerment. You've seen the worst that could really happen. And I know for me, the experience of going through that crippling bankruptcy made me decide that that would never happen again. And today, even though I take risks, I do everything I can to mitigate them before I dive in. I never put myself in a position of losses that I can't handle. You may have been on the other side and seen that you still strive and survive even when the worst happens. A tolerance and willingness to go through failure is a key characteristic that distinguishes the very successful. The key lies in how you mentally frame the experience. Is it purely a terrible occurrence, or does it hold value as a learning and growth experience for you? I'm reminded of the Steve Jobs' iconic 2005 commencement address at Stanford University, where he discussed how being fired at the age of 30 from Apple ultimately freed him to enter what he called, and I quote, "one of the most creative, productive periods of my life," end quote. As he described the period that led up to his involvement with Pixar Animation and his ultimate triumphant return to Apple as CEO, he told the graduates, "The heaviness of being successful was replaced by the lightness of being a beginner again, less sure about everything." It's surely a lot easier to be so open to difficult times in retrospect. We shouldn't diminish the very real psychic and financial toll that periods of struggle can take on you, but be heartened that every great success story involves a period of going through valleys of despair and uncertainty. You may find solace in reading biographies of other business leaders who have fueled their success through tough times. Having time for reading and reflection being another potential benefit of going through a slow patch. Resist the temptation to shut yourself off from the rest of the world. A support network can not only point you to new opportunities, but provide you with emotional sustenance and remind you that the other things in life that you can be grateful for. So think about, what strategies can you leverage when you're down and out, if you're going through a tough time, if things just fell out for you tomorrow? What would you do? What tools do you have to fall back on? Is it savings, connections, skills that you could employ to get back on your feet and get things going again? And you can get back on your feet. And not just back on your feet, you can prosper and become the greatest you've ever been. And that's all about taking steps now, starting now and taking that first step. Making that decision to take charge and move your life from where it is today to where you want it to be. It's time to make a commitment to yourself to do all you can do to become as great and as prosperous as you can be. You can also learn more by visiting my website, TonyNewmeyer.com, and be sure to register to receive free trainings, articles, and more. Also subscribe to my YouTube channel and follow me on Facebook. And you can get your copy of The 7-Minute Millionaire and check out my other books at TonyNewmeyer.com as well. And remember, always live rich.